Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Gertrude and we're back with another video. Today's video we'll be talking about hair porosity. What is hair porosity? How to determine your own hair porosity. Now, before we continue, I have created a free hair porosity guide that breaks down the different porosity types and the exact product and care tips that you need. You can download it for free. Just check the link in the description box. Thank you. How you can use all that information to better your hair care routine. What treatments you need, because natural hair can be confusing and it can be overwhelming, especially with all the social media advice, DIYs, methods, and product options circulating on social media. Knowing your hair porosity will tell you how often you need these ingredients, or if you even need them at all, what order to layer your products, and what ingredients or techniques to avoid. Once you know how your hair behaves with water and products, you can just stop copying random routines and just make decisions based on what your hair needs. Porosity simply means how well something can hold or absorb moisture because of the tiny holes or spaces that it has. For example, a sponge has high porosity because it soaks up a lot of water. A plastic surface has low porosity because the water just slides off. It is unable to soak in the water. We get that? Now, when it comes to hair porosity is how well your hair can absorb and retain that moisture. This includes water, oils, products, etc. Now let's look at the hair structure briefly to better understand how this porosity thing works. Now we have the hair shaft. The hair shaft is the visible strand of hair and it is made up of 3 layers. The first layer is the cuticle, which is the outer layer. This cuticle acts like roof shingles or fish scales. If you can picture that, that is exactly how the cuticle acts or behaves like. It protects the inside of the hair and it determines how much water can go in or go out. That is what determines hair porosity. Then we have the cortex, which is the middle layer. It is the thickest part of the strand. It contains most of the hair strength, color, elasticity, and this layer is why your hair bends or curls or stays straight. And then finally the medulla, which is the inner core. It is the innermost soft and spongy center, and this is sometimes missing, especially in fine hair. So now that we understand what determines the porosity of the hair and how it actually works, let's go into the different types of hair porosity. So now I hope we understand now what determines the hair porosity, and this is the cuticles. Moving on, the hair porosity is determined by 2 things. One is genetics, which is basically how you were born, and then 2 is damage or changes over time. Basically how you treat your hair. This can be heat styling, use of blow dryers, straighteners, curling irons, chemical treatments, relaxers, hair dyes, bleach, sun exposure, over manipulation or rough handling. Basically how you treat your hair can actually change or damage your hair porosity. Now, with that said, there are 3 types of hair porosity. We have the low porosity, the medium or normal porosity, and we have the high porosity. Now, if you have low porosity hair, this is what your hair looks like. The cuticles are tightly closed and flat. Moisture has a hard time entering, but once it does, it stays locked in. Now, to better understand this, picture silk or satin fabrics. Water just slides off the fabric instead of absorbing easily. It doesn't absorb easily, but when it does, it doesn't leave quickly. Looking at the characteristics of low porosity hair, the first and foremost is that the cuticles are closed. You'll notice that water products tend to just sit on top of your hair instead of absorbing in. Now, because those products are just sitting on your hair and they are not absorbing in easily, this tends to cause product buildup. When you're washing your hair can take longer to get fully wet. When it does get wet, it is actually hard for it to dry, which goes to say that once moisture is in, it is actually hard for that moisture to leave. It usually looks shiny and healthy because the cuticles are smooth. Now, how do we care for this low porosity hair? Use heat to help moisture penetrate. Now, I don't mean blow drying, straighteners, curling irons. No, do warm water rinses. Warm water is your bestie. Or you can use a steaming cap. This steaming cap gently releases heat that helps to open your cuticles. The heat helps to open your cuticles. It's usually gentle heat. When you are deep conditioning, use a steaming cap or a warm towel. You're going to go for lightweight products. Choose lightweight products. Go for lighter oils like argan, jojoba, grapeseed oil, because the heavy oils tend to just sit on top of your hair. Use liquid-based leave-ins and products in general. Products that have water as the first ingredients. Products that are just basically lightweight instead of thick creams. Avoid product buildup. You are prone to product buildup as a low porosity girly, so you are going to clarify regularly, and that means simply using clarifying shampoo regularly, or you can do an apple cider vinegar rinse. When you have buildups, it blocks moisture from entering your hair. That is the reason. You need to moisturize properly. Now, you've probably heard of the LCO or the LOC method. As a low porosity girly, you will use the LCO method. Liquid, cream, and oil. The liquid goes in first, the cream, and then the oil to seal in that moisture. If you followed me on the channel long enough, you know that I don't do anything without moisturizing my hair, especially when it comes to treatments, because I have low porosity hair. Whenever you are working on your hair or doing any treatments, always work on damp hair. This is best for absorption. Finally, you have to be patient with absorption. Give your hair time for the products to sink in. You are going to be patient, my dear. And don't overload your products. A little goes a long way for low porosity hair. If you have medium or normal porosity hair, your cuticles look like this. The cuticles are slightly open, they're not tightly shut, and they're not too open. So the hair absorbs and holds onto moisture in a balanced way. We know cotton fabric, so picture cotton. Cotton absorbs moisture easily and it just holds it well. But not too much and not too little. It is just balanced. If you have normal porosity hair, you are just God's favorite. I'm jealous. You notice that your hair is easy to care for. It absorbs products and moisture well without much effort. Moisture enters easily and stays for a reasonable amount of time. Your hair is easy to style and it holds styles well. Your hair looks shiny and healthy with minimal effort, and it can handle chemicals like dye better than other porosities. Care tips for your medium or normal porosity hair. Just continue maintaining balance. Maintain balance. Don't over moisturize or over protein. Use a mix of light and medium oils and butters such as olive oil, coconut oil, shea butter, etc. Deep condition regularly but not excessively. The key here is balance. And you're going to protect your hair from too much heat or chemicals to avoid shifting to high porosity hair. Moving on to high porosity hair. If your cuticles look like this, you have high porosity hair. The cuticles are lifted with gaps or cracks, so the hair easily absorbs water but just as it easily absorbs water, it loses the water. Think of wool or lace fabric. It soaks up water really fast, very fast, but also dries out very quickly because the gaps are wide. If you have high porosity hair, you'll notice that your hair drinks up water fast but still feels dry, frizzy, or rough unless you seal the moisture in. Another characteristic of high porosity hair is that it easily tangles up and it is prone to breakage. Now, because the cuticles are open and just there, they just tend to get together and marry each other, and that causes tangles. Tangles in turn lead to breakage. To care for high porosity hair, you will seal moisture with heavier oils and butters, such as castor oil, shea butter, etc. You will use the LOC method, which is the liquid, oil, and cream to lock in hydration. You will do regular protein treatments to strengthen weak cuticles. Cold water is your best friend. You will rinse with cold water, or you can do aloe vera rinses to help close up the cuticles. And you are going to limit heat or chemical treatments to avoid further damaging your hair. Avoid heat. If you want to stretch your hair, there are a lot of options, heatless options that you can use. I have a video on this channel on how to use African threading to stretch your hair. There are a lot of ways to get the desired result of stretching your hair without using heat. So as much as possible, avoid heat. Now, there is a lot of debacle or argument on whether or not low porosity hair girlies should use protein treatments or not. And I would say, yes, you can use protein treatments, but you have to balance it out. Balance is key. So you can't constantly use products that contain protein on your hair because it's going to actually make your hair stiff, and the protein is going to be an overload. So you can schedule protein treatments once a month. Just don't overdo it as a low porosity girl. Don't overdo it because already it is believed that your hair already has enough protein. So you are only going to supplement. Yes, you do need protein treatments, but you don't need it so much. Don't overdo it. Balance is key. How to test hair porosity? There are 3 popular methods you can try at home. We have the float test. For the float test, you take a few clean, dry strands of hair, which is free from product and free from oil. Drop them into a glass of room temperature water. Let them sit for like 10 to 15 minutes. If it floats, you have low porosity. If it sinks slowly to the middle, you have medium porosity. And if it sinks to the bottom, you have high porosity. Now, the float test has its own limitations because the results can be influenced. The hair might have product buildup, there is surface tension from the water, etc, etc. So this is not a 100% sure way to know your hair porosity. Next one is a slip and slide test. You simply take a strand of hair and slide your fingers from the tip towards the root. Let's try it. Now I have my own strand of hair. I'm going to slide. Yep. If it's a smooth feel, you have low porosity. If you feel a slight bumpiness, you have medium porosity. And if it is very bumpy or rough, you have high porosity. Finally, the spray bottle test. And this is something that we do all the time. We're always spraying our hair with water all the time. So this is easy. So you lightly spray water on a section of dry hair. If the water beads up and sits, you have low porosity. If the water is absorbed slowly and evenly, you have medium porosity. And if the water absorbs quickly, you have high porosity. Now, with everything that we have mentioned on how to determine your hair porosity, the only and the most reliable way to know your hair porosity is to observe how your hair reacts with water and with products as well as how long it takes to dry, the drying time. So with everything that we have mentioned and discussed and all the information that we have digested, what is your hair porosity? Comments below. Let me know your hair porosity. I have low porosity hair. I did the slide test, I did the float test. It's low porosity, guys. And I have also observed how my hair reacts with water. My hair takes an awfully long time to absorb water and an awfully long time to dry. My hair can stay wet for a whole day, and even till the next day. Especially if I'm trying to retain moisture, the moisture will stay. But when it is dry, it is dry. Don't forget to claim your free gift in the description below. It is a free hair porosity care guide that breaks down the different types of porosity, the exact products and care tips that you need. It is basically a simplified summary or version of this whole video. Everything we have talked about, your hair porosity matters. It matters a lot. It matters more than knowing your hair type, the 4A, 4B, 4C. I feel like that's just for fun. Knowing your hair porosity would help you better care for your hair, would help you create a routine, a hair care routine that actually tackles and takes care of the root problems and gives your hair exactly what it needs, leading to better moisture retention, strength, and growth, which is what we all want. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, just subscribe. You keep watching my videos without subscribing, so hit the subscribe button, and we are going to do a protective styling next. Hit the subscribe button. Let me know what your hair porosity is. Leave me a comment. Share this video with your friends and your family, and to anyone who is trying to go natural or planning to go natural or who is already natural. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.